All right, first thing I want to do before I get started with this shift to shifted video is to let you know that I had no idea what I was doing. Um, I am mechanically inclined, but I had to figure out a bunch of stuff while I was doing it. And there was no YouTube video that existed on how to go from shift to shifted by adding the Fox shock and the hardware. So the video you're about to see is me discovering things while I'm trying to figure it out. So I am in no means a bike repairman or know how to work on a SNO-Go other than the things I've figured out on my own. So just wanted to create this video so the next person doesn't have to figure out the stuff I had to figure out. Cool? Hope you enjoy it. This is a Rustfire Shift, recently purchased. I did a few modifications, added the deity bars and stem, and I have some custom powder skis. But today I'm going to be replacing the stock fork with a Fox 36. So I'm going to be turning this shift into a shifted. This just showed up today. We've been trying to install that. What I did notice is I could find nothing on YouTube on how to turn a shift into a shifted. So that is what I'm going to be attempting today. So first thing we're going to do is get this camera set up in a good spot, and I'm going to start tearing off the mechanics of the front of this fork right here. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is take off this front ski. And we need to remove all of these components from the shock, and then we'll take handlebars and stem off and the fork off. So I want to remove these bolts here. Oh, fuck. Really? Fuck. Fucking drop both of those. Might cut that out. All right, next thing you're gonna do is there's a hex head here, and there's the part it screws into on this side. So unscrew this, and this nut right here will come loose. And you get that nut right there. And get yourself a hammer and some sort of, I'm using a ratchet extender. And you just want to tap out this shaft right here. That should be enough. You can just twist it. There we go. That whole piece comes off. Okay, with that same Allen, you want to loosen the bolts on the stem first. Just get those loose. Then you're going to loosen the, oh, I lost my little cap. I must have lost it while I was skiing yesterday. There's normally a cap that sits in that, on top of that bolt right there. Okay, and then you can pull this bolt out. Okay. And then you should be able to take the handlebars off, or the stem off. I'm leaving the handlebars on there. Just take the stem off. You have a spacer. And then you have this collar. And this should come right out. There's a metal, there's this metal piece right here, so careful not to lose that. That'll pop in for the next fork install, and that's pretty much it. I think we use the same bearings, so I should just be able to drop this new fork in. I'll unbox it here in a second. Okay, I ordered this from a lady named Rain out of Southern California. She has her own Shopify store, and she sells parts and custom, she sells parts and custom SNO-Gos out of her own business. And I purchased this from her. She includes the bracket that you need to go from shifted to shift to shifted. No idea what that's for. That's the 36. Wow, it's really light too. It's significantly lighter than the shock that came on the SNO-Go. All right. Let me get this apart. So Rain sells the bracket you need for the forks, the new forks, to work with the SNO-Go. They look really similar, and what I can see the difference is it's a little bit longer. So if I line up those holes, you can see it probably looks almost a ½ inch longer. So I'm gonna switch this bracket out real quick, and then we'll move on to the install. New bracket is installed on the hardware that holds a ski on. Use your Loctite on anything that you're not going to be removing, like the skis, anything that's got a thread. Highly recommended. I only had blue, which is the medium, but it's better than nothing. Okay, to get this shaft out of the new fork, you need to loosen this a 5.5 millimeter. You need to loosen this bolt here, and then you can give this one turn, which gets this unthreaded, and then you can just turn it by hand to get that out of there. I'm following the opposite method in which I took it apart. I'm gonna go ahead and install the shock, and then I'll put the hardware on the bottom that holds the ski. So just gonna bring this up through the center. Get it seated. So a ring wants to go on, and it snaps in there. Then your collar and your spacer. And then here's an issue. I can't use this spacer because it looks like it's quite a bit longer. The stock fork is longer tubed on top than the Fox, so no collar, I guess. We go right to wait a minute. Hang on. Okay, a few noteworthy things. If you look inside the old shock, there is this little nut on the inside, and that is what the bolt screws into. I'm moving it around terribly. That's what the bolt screws into to tighten. You have to install that into the new shock. Perfect. Thank you, brother. Okay. Also,
Can everyone say hello to Billy?
you're gonna want to pull this piece that's on here. You're gonna pull that off because this is part of the bearings. And drop it onto here like that. Okay, and then this is gonna go up through here, like that. This collar's gonna go on, and it only goes on one direction. There's a flange that goes down. And make sure that is seated in there. Then your collar. You would then have this, for some reason it's shorter, so we're not gonna be able to use this. I'm gonna go right to the top like that. I'm gonna tighten these a little bit, not much. Okay, then you're gonna want your stem bolt.
Can everyone say hello to Billy?
I'm gonna put a little bit of Loctite on that. Okay, I'm gonna snug that down. gonna I'm gonna align the stem. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna tighten these. Always do this first. All right, that looks pretty good. I might need to adjust that once I get it centered down. So let's move on to the lower part of the fork. This is gonna wanna go
Can everyone say hello to Billy?
like that. Okay. This that's not gonna work. Gotta use the one that came with the fork. Back to the 5.5. Okay, I'm not gonna tighten that all the way until I get these installed. We'll drop a Loctite. Give yourself some .5. Huh. Oh, it's not a 5.5.
Can everyone say hello to Billy?
All right. Did I put that on backwards? Oh, that's right. Oh. Okay, want to laugh at what I did wrong? Check this out. What's wrong with this picture? Okay, let's fix that real quick. looks pretty good. There we go, all installed. Okay, something else that came up that I didn't notice before. The fork tube is a little bit longer on the stock fork. So you have to have this spacer in here in order to hold this all together. So I took the spacer from the stock fork and I cut it to size with a hacksaw. And I needed 3/4 in order for it to fit with my handlebars. So now I'm going to install that nut and it should hold it all together. There we go. Let's get our forks straight. That looks pretty good. You know, if you're a bicycle repairman, you probably already knew that I was screwing that up because you have to have that spacer in there in order to keep the headset together. I didn't know. Now I know. Now I know. All set.
Can everyone say hello to Billy?
Okay, good to go.